Hello, everybody. My name is Nerdy Lover, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Premier League version of our betting show here on YouTube. We're going to start off by recapping our selections from last week and seeing how well or poorly we did, and maybe justify our mistakes and pat ourselves on the back for our successes. So let's jump straight into it. We on the Friday night, Crystal Palace hosted Arsenal. And we felt pretty good about backing Arsenal at odds of 1.86, £20 stake to return £17.20. Arsenal held the one-goal lead going into half-time, and they did pretty well, to be honest. Dominated the first half. Crystal Palace really came into their own for the first 20-25 minutes of the second half, but just didn't have the staying power. At one point, I was going to cover Arsenal, so I would take a little bit of our winnings back to guarantee a profit, but just as I did that, Arsenal came on really strongly, had that good 5-minute spell, and then ended up scoring to seal the 2-0 win on the opening game of the season. As I said, Arsenal won 2-0, so unfortunately, our second selection, Arsenal to win 2-1 and Leeds Wolves draw in our accumulator, did end up losing. It was only 64p though, so I think we can live with that. First Saturday selection was Bournemouth Aston Villa. Pretty good odds of 6-5 to take Aston Villa. They dominated the possession and the chances. They just weren't clinical enough, and Bournemouth did end up winning. So, you're going to have some of those games like that, especially as a trader or a football punter, whatever we decide we're doing with this. Good luck to Bournemouth, but I do think it was a bit of a first day of the season syndrome for Aston Villa, and I'm sure they'll be stronger come the next couple of games. One result that was never really in doubt, and if I didn't have the discipline to restrict myself to £20 stakes, I would have put a lot more money on Newcastle to beat Nottingham Forest. Forest looked like a championship team. They've lost their best player of the season last year. He's gone to Spurs. So yeah, odds of 1.65. It was an easy £13 pickup for Newcastle to win on the opening day. Spurs Southampton, last video we spoke about the feasibility of Spurs winning 3-0 by themselves, and although Son and Kane didn't feature on the scoreboard, the rest of the team picked up the slack and ended up winning a 4-1 win against the Saints for a nice little £7 pickup there. This didn't go as well. Final game of Saturday night was Everton versus Chelsea. I was going to take Chelsea. I was going to back them. I thought they'd get a result at Goodison. But by the time the match was about to kick off, their odds had plummeted all the way down to 2-5 or 1.4 on the exchange. So in an attempt to try and reclaim some value, I handicapped Chelsea by a goal. 1-0 was the score, so we got our stake refunded as the Asian handicap dictates. So yeah, it wasn't even a good game to watch, just wasted an hour and a half, really. So at least we didn't lose our £10 stake. And then the only game we were interested in on Sunday was Leicester City versus Brentford. Leicester City leapt out to a 2-goal lead, and for the little while I was getting a bit funny about Brentford scoring, but not only did they score, they came back to draw 2-2, and well, aside from a slightly offside decision, Brentford could have actually escaped the king power of all 3 points. So what does that mean for our tally so far? We have a sum of £23.74 for the Premier League so far, with an average win rate of 67%. Now, I'm going to just fudge the numbers here. We take out the loss of 64p, which isn't a real loss. We're actually averaging winning 4 in every 5 bets. So, yeah, that's not too bad at all, actually. Normally try to aim for 60 or 65% hit rate, which is enough to start turning a small profit on. If you can get up to the 70s and mid-70s, you're definitely going to be making a lot of money. But 80% win rate is not sustainable. So if you're here for 80% win rate, you're going to look elsewhere, because it's going to come back down to 60, 65. So yeah, that about recaps the games from last weekend. Let's look forward to this weekend's fixtures, and I believe we're going to kick off with Everton versus Villa, but I can't remember. So we're going to jump across now, and hopefully it's Everton versus Villa on the Friday night game. What do you know? It is Aston Villa versus Everton, and you'd think I did some research before these videos. So we're going to be at Villa Park for our first bet of this episode, and Aston Villa are unbeaten in each of their last 6 games against Everton over the last 3 seasons, and they haven't even conceded a goal in the last 3 consecutive appearances. I mean, Everton looked okay against Chelsea, but just didn't have any end product. They're going to struggle without Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. I can't see them scoring a flurry of goals at Villa Park, especially if they start Gordon up top. Now, Gordon's not a terrible player, but he's also a winger. Sometimes you bring a winger up top like Cristiano Ronaldo, and they do great. Sometimes you bring a winger across into the middle and play him up top, and it's Flopsville. Gordon doesn't really seem to know where to position himself compared to centre-backs. And I think he'd be a lot more useful if he was to start on the wing and Lampard played someone like, I'm not even sure about the injury status of him, but Salomon Rondon would probably be a better release up top. He could sort of hold the ball up and create for players like Gordon because he can't do it himself. As interesting as Everton looked, I think Villa was also similarly lackluster against Bournemouth. They did dominate the ball in terms of possession. They did dominate the amounts of passes they made in the game and in the final third. They more than doubled Bournemouth's shots and more than doubled Bournemouth's dangerous chances created. But at the end of the day, as I said earlier in the video, Bournemouth took their chances. But you know what? In this game, I do think Villa have enough to edge past Everton. Lampard's men are still a bit confused. Gerrard's men, I think, have the class and the confidence of last season. So, 2 things. Aston Villa to win is going to be our single. And we're going to add Villa to win to 0 in a small accumulator, continuing their streak of the last 3 games. Next up, Wolves host Fulham at Molineux. And Fulham impressed against league title contenders Liverpool on match day 1, managing to secure an unlikely 2-2 draw. Whereas Wolves, on the other hand, looked a little bit off the pace against Leeds and a little bit blunt up top. That being said, when we look at the head-to-head records, Wolves have beaten Fulham by 1-0 in each of the last 3 head-to-heads. Delving into the statistics, all of which were close-run affairs in terms of possession, chances created, the quality of chances and expected goals. And Wolves will be eager to return to winning ways this weekend. The hammer blow, which really stopped me from skipping over this game and making a decision one way or another, was having a look at some of the stats on SofaScore, and there's a link in the description. In games in the Premiership at which Fulham have been priced at 3-1 or longer, they win less than 1% of the games played. So, how do we do this? Well, you can double chance Fulham, which means there's a 99% chance that the opposition wins or there's a draw. So I had a look through the exchange, and I think the best value we can get for this is Wolves draw no bet for me. There's either a 99% chance of you winning the bet, Wolves winning the game and you getting your winnings, or the other portion of that 99% is the game ends in a draw and you get your stake refunded to you. So, single bet, Wolves to win on the draw no bet market. Ploughing on with our selections. Brentford hosts Manchester United in Saturday's late kickoff game. Now, Ten Hag learned his lesson the hard way against Brighton in their 2-1 loss, and to be honest, I did think it could have been 3-0 at one point. So Martinez fouled Welbeck for a certain penalty, just a hard push in the back. I don't see why it wasn't given as a foul. But Brighton still managed to win. Anyway, I think the lesson that Ten Hag has learned, you need to start Cristiano Ronaldo, because Manchester United are struggling for an identity and they need a strong character to take charge. Ronaldo would give them a figurehead up front and a goal-scoring threat that Christian Eriksen in a false 9 just doesn't have right now. Now, Manchester United will look to set the record straight against Brentford. This is a team that they beat both home and away last year, winning one game 3-0 and the other 3-1. Manchester United to win is a fairly easy bet here at, it's roughly 19/20. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take Manchester United to win in 90 minutes against Brentford. And for Manchester United to score 2 or more goals, we're going to add that selection to the accumulator. The final single selection that we are interested in takes place on Sunday afternoon as Nottingham Forest welcome West Ham up north to the Forest ground. West Ham did pretty well to keep Manchester City down to 2 goals, one of which being a penalty in the season opener. And actually, they had a couple of chances of their own. Unfortunately, Declan Rice and Ben Rama were not on target to steal away Manchester City's clean sheet. But I think West Ham and David Moyes will take a lot of confidence from that performance against last year's champions. On the other hand, Forest were thoroughly schooled against Newcastle United, and I fear the same will happen again against West Ham United. No need to complicate this selection, as we are going to keep betting against Nottingham Forest until they prove us wrong. Jumping over to Betfair now, West Ham are pretty decent odds if we take them to win the game. I have little doubt in my mind. So that's the bet, West Ham to win. Before we jump ahead to the summary and wrap up today's video, we do have the accumulator to round out, and that will be Chelsea hosting Tottenham Hotspurs today. And quite frankly, Chelsea own Spurs' soul. Spurs have failed to beat Chelsea in each of their last 7 encounters, and that was in a 1-0 win in the 2019 season in the EFL Cup. We have to go all the way back an extra season to late of 2018 for Spurs' last league triumph. However, this is a different Spurs. This is Conte's Spurs, and they're going to be playing some good stuff. They got off to a hot start against Southampton, and Chelsea were not out of the blocks very quickly against Everton. So it's difficult to commit to one side or another. If you're going strictly on form, you're going to want to take Chelsea, but I don't feel that confident in this particular matchup at this point in the season. So where's the angle? In each of the last 9 games, there have been under 3.5 goals scored. I don't think Spurs will be as free scoring against Chelsea, and I don't think Chelsea have really sorted themselves out up top. They'll probably play Kai Havertz up top again. Obviously, they've loaned Lukaku out, and they've now sold Timo Werner back to Red Bull. So I'm thinking that Koulibaly and Silva and anyone else they put in the defence will be able to reduce Tottenham's ability to score. And I'm thinking they're going to be quite blunt up top. So the final leg of the accumulator, which appears to be a triple, is under 3.5 goals in the Chelsea-Spurs game. Okie dokie. This will be the end of the video. We're just going to do a quick recap of the games that we have discussed today. Aston Villa take on Everton. We're going to be backing Aston Villa to win at home at odds of 1.87. A £20 stake returns £17.40. I really do like the idea of a 99% chance of winning or not losing. So we're going to be doing Wolves draw no bet at odds of 1.72. £20 stake will either return us £14.40 should Wolves win. In the event of a draw, we get our stake refunded. And if Fulham do pull off that 1% chance, we will lose our £20 stake. I was very confident for the next game, Manchester United to beat Brentford, even though Man United are on the road. Odds of 1.06, so a £20 stake actually returns more than £20, 21.20 on the cards there. We're going to keep betting against Forest until they prove us wrong. I really thought West Ham did quite well against Manchester City last week. So even though they are the away side, we will be backing them at 1.92, £20 stake to return £18.40. And the accumulator is going to be a triple this week. The hardest leg will be up first. Aston Villa to win to 0. Then Manchester United to score at least 2 goals against Brentford. And Chelsea Spurs under 3.5 goals. That comes to a just over odds of 6 to 1. A £5 stake to return £30.70 of profit. So in the Premier League, we're going to be risking £85 to win a potential £102.10. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, please drop a like. Make sure you come back next week to see how we did. And once again, thank you very much for watching. My name has been Nerdy Lover. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.